about it that this car is quick. Yeah, look, you can get on it now coming out of the turn. Yeah. All right, my car's not broken in yet, so I don't want to drive it too hard. Yeah, it's a little rocket ship, man. It's a little rocket ship. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Will Motivation, back with another video, and today we are talking about my 2022 Audi RS3 launch edition, which I recently picked up here behind me. I can zoom in and focus on that. We're going to do a little review on the car. First review in the rain, but hey, I'm dedicated to getting this done because I'm about to be moving and shaking, and I want to go ahead and get this initial review from an owner's perspective of the 2022 Audi RS3 launch edition. All right, let's talk about the car. Jump right into it. So now, sorry it's raining, but like I said, I wanted to hurry up and get this to you because the car is fresh off the presses. Audi just released this vehicle. Like the first deliveries were last week, and I happened to be one of the first people. I think there were like 13 cars delivered at the same time, and I happened to be one of the first people to get one of these launch edition cars. So a lot of times people ask, what does it mean for it to be a launch edition? Like, is this some type of special edition? In this case, it's not really a special edition. It's just one of the first cars that Audi spec'd for the dealers. I don't think the dealers got to spec the cars, but no customer spec'd the launch edition cars. So a lot of them have the same spec. You'll see like a lot of black ones, but there's all different colors so far that have been released. And for me, I think I'm definitely a qualified owner to review this particular car because this is my sixth S3 and my second RS3. So I've had a bunch of S3s and a bunch of, well, two RS3s. And I can tell you what's good about it. I can tell you what's bad about it, and everything in between. Okay, so what I'm going to do in this review is I'm going to start with the exterior. We're going to talk about everything, good and bad about the exterior, in my opinion. Then we're going to go into the interior. I'll show you guys also the engine, the trunk, talk a little bit about the specs of the car, and just give you my driving review after that. So we're going to take it for a drive, take it on the freeway, and talk about how this car drives and then how it's different from previous versions of the S3 or RS3. All right, let's go. First of all, look at those wheels. You guys drop me a comment, let me know what you think about the wheels. Brand new wheels for the RS3 for the 2022. Styling is a little bit different from previous versions, but it is very similar to the S3, but the difference being the car is a little bit wider. It's got like in the body, it has some little differences like this little flare right there. The siding, like the body kit on the side there is a little bit different. But other than that, on the exterior, the other thing is the tailpipes are different. So on the S3, there's two pipes on each side. And then on the RS3, there's this larger oval pipe. And the extension there, or the tip, is not actually connected to the exhaust, where some people complain about that, but to me, it doesn't really bother me. But you can see inside there, it's not connected, and there's like two tips coming out of the exhaust, and then there's that oval. Some people, it bothers them because they say it's like a fake exhaust or whatever, but that doesn't bother me as much as these fake, honeycombs. Like on a car like my Huracan, those are real, you know what I'm saying? So, and functional for air ventilation, so. And there's the same thing in the front. This one's real. It's fake in here. And that one's real on that side. I heard in I think it's the European model, one of those sides is actually fake. And it might be on the S3, if I'm not mistaken. All right, other exterior styling. The lighting is really unique. I'll show you guys at the end of the video how when you lock it and unlock it, it says RS3 on the lighting. As a matter of fact, let me show you guys that right now. All right, let's see if we can get the RS3 to show up real quick. Here we go, here we go. RS3, there it is. All right, so a nice little feature. A lot of people like that. But for my particular car, I think I'm gonna go ahead. Actually, I'm taking it today to get the windows tinted. So I'm gonna drop it off at the shop. I'll do a video so you guys can see kind of, this is the before, and then you'll get to see the after. But this is also, what are some of the options on my particular car? It has the black optics package, so everything is blacked out. I actually modded the little wheel center caps to be black, but doesn't come like that. It actually has like a silver like painting on the caps. But it has a black optics package. On the exterior, that's pretty much it. All of the cars have sunroofs. All of the RS3s have sunroofs. There's a lot of different features that I like. For example, it has keyless entry, and you don't need the remote to enter. You could just put your hand on the lock. And something that they added a little bit later is this on the front and back, so you can lock it as well. On the back door, you can't lock it. Front door, you can. Let me see, where is it? There it is. But let's see if we can open it. Yeah, we can open it from the back. So that's pretty dope, like that, you know, as a feature that Audi added. So there it is for the exterior. Now let me show you guys the trunk. What kind of trunk space do we have? And this is one of the things about this car being a really sporty sedan, is you still have a trunk and you still have a back seat. So this is an awesome car, awesome daily driver for those of us that really like to have a fast and functional daily driver. So plenty of space back there. I say you got space for two large pieces of luggage. I always like to show the interior as well. So this interior is a little bit boring. So that's one downside of the, you know, launch editions. And some of the other editions of the car, you can get different color stitching like green or red. But the launch spec that I have is just black on black. And then you can also get like silver or white stitching as well. Now, one good thing is you have the two USB ports, and they're the newer USB ports. As far as stereo system, it's got the Bang & Olufsen. But I will say the interior is a little bit lackluster as far as, you know, pop or like trying to make it interesting. But it is luxurious. It is nice. Got your cup holders. Now let's see if we can fit in here. Okay, so I am 6'2", and I barely fit back here. So that's what it looks like. Barely fit. I can't get in here though. Close the door. But I mean, it's pretty tight. But it is functional if you have like kids that are below 5 feet tall, or I'm sorry, below 6 feet tall. They should fit back here just fine. Headroom is barely adequate though. All right, before we get onto the inside and take it for a drive, let me talk about the engine, a little bit of the specs. So this is an interesting vehicle if you're not familiar with the Audi RS3, because, for example, the Audi S3 has a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder engine, but the RS3 has a rally-inspired 5-cylinder engine that is I believe it's 2.5 liters, 5-cylinder engine, and it is plenty powerful. Okay, so let's talk about the horsepower and the torque. So it has 401 horsepower and 369 foot-pounds of torque. And if you want to get into an RS3 2022, you're going to pay about 58 to 59,000 for the base, and then all the way spec'd out and optioned up, you can get into right around 70,000. Now, another thing about these cars, the launch editions, it's the first car that the dealers are going to get. So a lot of dealers are marking these cars up, and well, you might pay anywhere from 5,000 over sticker to 10,000. And I've heard of some cases of people paying up to 20,000 over sticker. But let's go ahead and take a look at the inside. of this vehicle. All right, so here's all your controls for window open, you know, mirrors, heated mirrors, setting your seat position, which I need to do, opening up the trunk. All right, so let's check out the interior of the RS3. I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up so you guys can see the dash. There we go. Now you can do all kind of stuff with this dash, and this is not going to be like a tutorial review. In my reviews, I like to talk about my impressions of the car from an owner's perspective, but there's lots of videos out there reviewing all of the details of, you know, the MMI system and Audi. Go check out Doug DeMuro for that. But I'm an owner of the car, and I've owned a lot. Like, I'm probably an expert from a ownership perspective on the S3 line of cars and the RS3. Now, my previous RS3, I had some serious complaints about it. So when I drive this car, I'm going to talk about that and what the differences are between my previous car and this one. But yeah, they fixed a lot of things with this car, and there's a lot to like about the new Audi RS3. So let's finish talking about the interior. All right, so quick look at the interior, the seating. I'm getting ready to run to the toy barn to handle some business with my F12, but check it out. One cool thing about the interior is they've got a phone charger right there. There's a nice place for your phone. It can hold your phone in there. It's got 2 USB ports. I believe there's a USB port in here. Maybe not. So I thought there was one in the center console as well, but there's a cigarette lighter here, cup holders. I'm not too fond of this shifter. I wish they would have kept the, you know, the knob shifter here. You know, it's just something nice to hold on to and shift like it used to be. But they opted for this, which I just really don't agree with. But hopefully they change it back in the future, like I've seen some other manufacturers do. Apple CarPlay, obviously. So, you know, you can jump to the like I said, this is not going to be a review of the MMI system. But what we're going to do is now take this thing for a drive. But it's got lots of features. It's got RS mode. One cool thing that I got to make sure I mention, though. Let me jump over here, and we jump into the vehicle, and then we jump into like RS setting. This is specific to the RS line, or for the RS3. Check it out. You got G meter maximum values. You got tire pressure monitoring on the fly, engine oil and coolant and temperatures. I mean, it's pretty dope for the RS3. Now, one thing that people are really excited about for this car is that you can put it into rear wheel drive mode. Now, by default, the car is all wheel drive, but one thing that's cool about it's got basically drift mode. You can put it in rear wheel drive and oversteer with the car, or you can drift. And Audi doesn't want you to do it on the streets, but obviously you can. And in a future video, we'll do some donuts with this car and take it and try to get some drifts happening with my RS3. So you guys subscribe and stay tuned for that. But now we're going to go into talking about the driving dynamics of the RS3, and I'm going to compare it to my S3 and my previous RS3 that I sold after only 2 weeks of ownership, because I had some issues with that car that I'm going to tell you the truth, they have resolved pretty much all those issues with this new RS3. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Before we do that, let me show you something else I like about this. You can actually go here, right? And you can, on the screen, it has the controls for your garage with the home link. That's pretty dope. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this thing for a ride. Now, I'm going to talk about first things first. One of the issues that I had with my previous S3, wow. One of the issues I had with my previous S3 and my previous RS3 was, turn this off, there was a serious throttle lag issue where you would press the gas in the car and it would take half second, a second, you know, serious lag when you would press the gas, especially when you were turning right or left from a stop, which is dangerous because sometimes if you're turning right or left from a stop and there's oncoming traffic, you don't want to have lag when you're timing, you know, yourself to get out into traffic, and sometimes there might be a tight squeeze or whatnot. So one of the first things I noticed when I got in this car to drive it was, like I'm like I'm starting off on the turn right there. One of the things I noticed right away, and I had it in dynamic mode, but now I'm driving like in comfort mode. But I noticed that the lag, they fixed the lag problem. They fixed it. They completely fixed it. It's noticeably different. It's noticeably more responsive to throttle input, and that was a major concern that I had with my previous S3 and my previous RS3 before this one. Now, second noticeable thing, having bought one of these cars, is the suspension. The suspension was a major drawback to previous S3 and RS3 models. Going over bumps, the car was very uncomfortable, and it got to the point where after having about three S3s, maybe 4 S3s, I was like, man, I'm done with the S3, and I moved up to an S6. And the reason why I gave up on the S3 line was because Audi never fixed the super harsh suspension in the car. But with this latest 22 model of the S3 and RS3, they have fixed the suspension issue in the car, which, I mean, so that makes me probably an owner of one of these for life. You know, if they get it right on the throttle input. The braking was always excellent. You know, the brakes in this car are awesome. But the suspension and the throttle hesitation were major problems for me. But now that they fixed both of those issues, you know, I feel comfortable having this car for the long haul. And if I do replace it, I'll probably just replace it with the latest version of the S3 or RS3 model line. So awesome job, Audi, for that. Now they still got to fix this little shifter, because that was a downgrade for them to move to this little finger shifter thing. But okay, what are the other dynamics that you guys care about? And I know what that is. Let's put it in sport mode, and let's listen to the car. Let's drive a little bit. Yeah, there's no doubt about it that this car is quick. There's no doubt about it. This car is fast. It's quick. It feels awesome. It feels excellent. The size of this car is one of the best things about it, right? Because you can get all this performance, all this speed, all this, you know, responsiveness in a smaller sedan. And the small size makes it feel more like a sports car. Like, for example, I came from recently from a 2021 Audi S6. Great car, you know, great power and everything, but it was way too big. It felt like a boat. It was way too floaty. Suspension was comfortable, but it felt like a boat. Now, here's another thing about this car. There's no auto start stop. Yeah, look, you can get on it now coming out of the turn. Yeah. All right, my car's not broken in yet, so I don't want to drive it too hard. Yeah, this is dope. This is dope. Let me go ahead and all right, so I got my setup together. So yeah, this vehicle, the size of it, the power is awesome. The sound is awesome as well. This is something that I appreciated on my S3 that I just traded in for this car. Is the sound was levels and levels better than all of the previous versions of the S3. Very enjoyable to drive with the sound, and some of that, from what I understand, is pumped in through the audio system or something like that. But in the RS3, it's the real sound of the car, even though some of it may be augmented or pumped into the audio system. But hey, it sounds good. Who can complain? And once I get a exhaust on this car, it should be 10 times better. Now, drop me a comment if you know which exhaust is the best exhaust for the Audi RS3, because at this point I'm not sure, because I didn't modify the exhaust in my previous cars. But in this car I want to do it because I think I'll enjoy the car that much more. Now, another thing that people like about the RS3 is that the 5-cylinder engine is like legendary. It's like what they call a half of a Huracan engine, which is true, right? It's a Huracan is a V10. This is the 5-cylinder engine, and the sound is spectacular. It sounds like a baby Huracan, basically. But the car is boosted. Man, it makes awesome power. Like I said, it's about 401 horsepower, 359 or 69 foot-pounds of torque. Which for me, without tuning this car, it's really, I mean, even coming from driving like a Ferrari F8 that I just picked up, which is wickedly fast, driving this car still doesn't feel sluggish. It feels good. Yeah, you hear that engine? Yeah, man. Yeah, so I'm gonna enjoy this car. I'm gonna try to get a couple pulls for you guys, and then we're gonna take it on the freeway. Alright, so we're getting ready to get on the freeway. And another thing you might be wondering about this car is, how is the stereo system? Well, let's turn it on and see. I got my Apple CarPlay, got some drum and bass queued up. Let's click that. Here we go, here we go. Yeah. Sound system is dope. It's pretty good. Now, drawback, downgrade from previous versions of the S3 and RS3. I had 2015, I had a 2016, all the way up to a 2018 that I had, and they had a subwoofer that was mounted in the rear dash, firing up into that back window. It had like a little 7-inch or 8-inch sub. It was like a 6 or 7 or 8, I can't remember. I want to say it was like a 6 or a 7 because it was smaller than I thought. But that little subwoofer set this car stereo system off. Like, it was the best car stereo system I've ever had in any car. But in the 2022 version of the S3 RS3, the Bang & Olufsen system, it's still Bang & Olufsen, but it's missing that subwoofer in the back. And I don't know, maybe the highs might not be as crisp as in previous versions, but it's not, it's levels below how good the previous stereo system was. So they've downgraded the stereo system. It's not as good as it used to be. All right, now let's get into the car a little bit. Yeah, it's a little rocket ship, man. It's a little rocket ship. So we're on the freeway right now. Plenty of passing power, as you can see, but man, I don't want to get a ticket out here, and I'm sure it will be easy to do in this car. So we're going to take it easy on the all-out accelerations. But stay tuned to a future video where we're going to push this car to the limit once I break it in. Right now, I only have 75 miles on the car, so we want to kind of take it a little bit easy on these first 1,000 miles before breaking the car in. Then we'll be able to do launch control. We'll be able to do drift mode and really have some fun with the RS3. But overall, these are my initial impressions as an owner of the current model 2022 Audi RS3. And like I said, I've had plenty of RS3s in the past, or I'm sorry, plenty of S3s in the past. Another RS3 in the past as well. Now, if you have questions, maybe you own an Audi S3 or an Audi A3 or something like that, or an S6 or something. If you have questions about this car because you're thinking about getting one, feel free to ask questions in the comments, and I will answer all of the questions that I see in the comments. And maybe you guys will give me some ideas in the comments for future videos to do with my 2022 Audi RS3. But this has been my first review from an owner's perspective of the car. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you want to see next, because I've got some mods planned for the car. I'll do another ownership review after I've had it for like 90 days, that kind of thing, and we'll really share the experience owning the Audi RS3. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that like button, subscribe for more Audi RS3 content, or if you like Ferrari F8, you like a Lamborghini Huracan, you like a Lamborghini Aventador SV, got those cars in the stable as well. I do videos with those cars as well. If you'd like to see more of that, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
It's the one and only Floyd Money Mayweather. I'm here to tell you guys to go to Wheel Motivation. The exotic cars is crazy. I've been watching this show for a little while now, and it's growing. But we need everybody else to subscribe to Wheel Motivation and support Will. I'm supporting them. You do the same.